Severino, AJ Fang, and man, our kingdom is in a state of unrest. I've waited day after day, waiting for news on Snell, Yamamoto, Pete's extension, bobblehead night, f***ing anything, right? And then I see Wardy start a live stream, and it's news that Mets signed Luis Severino?
You what?
From the Bronx? 13 million?
You what?
Is that what we've been doing? What year is it? Look, I'm going to put my trauma to the side and try to rock with the new front office, right? They're not the ones that hurt us. And much like Chase Utley, David Stearns has his reputation for a reason, right? So I hop on Twitter and we're in full meltdown mode, as I expected, so much so that I had to hop off. So I put my glasses on and got to work looking for a silver lining. And I think I succeeded, but I'll let you be the judge of that. So we'll run through the obvious really quick, which is he was bad last year. Okay, but I won't harp on this for too long because the goal here was to understand the move. I mean, you've already seen the stats. So even if in the end I still end up disagreeing with it, I just want to try to understand it. Now, unfortunately, I found myself deep in the weeds of Yankee world, sullying my search history with their various blogs and platforms to hear their spoiled opinions and to learn what the hell was going on with him last season. After that, I ran through some baseball savant stuff, made some observations, and I think we found a reason, or two, or three, as to how that whole thing unraveled. And I'll spoil it early on, I even gained a little hope in the process. Now, the most likely scenario, in my opinion, is that there was a combination of three reasons. A spring training lat injury, which was said to have fully healed, but had been misdiagnosed going all the way back to 2018. Don't even get me started. We're dissecting that one. The other was altered pitching mechanics in response to said lat injury. And the third, just a good old-fashioned lack of confidence. Now, we'll start with the lat injury, or should I say injuries. Now, according to my sources, which are the Yankees themselves, they're believed to have mismanaged Sevy's injuries going all the way back to 2018. As it pertains to the lat injury, after he hurt it the first time early 2019, they had him begin rehabbing and throwing again when it was only about 90% healed. And they even admit it, but in the form of excuses like Cashman saying he hates going into the MRI tube, to excuse why they were a month late in imaging the arm, and oh yeah, he was strong. So they finally do an MRI and surprise, he has a grade 2 lat strain. So he sits for most of the 2019 season, being brought back at the end of the season heading into the playoffs. So then we see him ALDS Game 3.
Luis, it seemed like you were getting hit hard from the get-go. What did you...
He spoke afterwards of forearm tightness, which Brian Cashman considered a throwaway comment, and that's a quote. Severino then spoke to the media showing exactly where the pain was, and people in the know were saying that it was a definite precursor to needing Tommy John surgery. Now, if people on the internet can tell just by the video what was about to happen, I don't know how the Yankees didn't see it coming, but hey, let's keep going. Now, initially, it was said that MRIs were done and nothing was found. However, later on, as Boone spoke to the media, they revealed a loose body near his elbow. They then attributed this to an incidental, unrelated finding. I mean, what the hell is going on over there? And then the GM of that team says, injuries are a part of the game. Yes, that's true, but a normal amount of them. Diagnosing your generational talent and franchise centerpiece Aaron Judge's broken ribs and collapsed lung as a shoulder injury and not catching it for 3 months is not part of the game. They have perhaps the best resources provided to any team in sporting history, but as my grandmother will tell you, money can't buy you sense, especially when you're operating from a place of arrogance. And yes, I'm aware Sevy plays a role in this too, as all throughout this process he kept saying he was strong and just wanted to pitch, but their job is to save him from himself. Elite athletes, unless they're basketball players, want to be out there every night competing. It's literally his life. He just wants to help his guys and bring the Yankees glory. So I can't knock him if he's pitching in denial that something's wrong with him. And I'll move on, but after seeing this, how can you not be skeptical that something was up last year with him, injury-wise? Even though him and the team said he was healthy, neither party is reliable to me. So we either just paint a picture with unseen problems under the hood, or he has a chance to come back this year legitimately healthy for the first time in a while, which I ain't gonna lie, I kinda doubt. Now, as far as his performance outside of being injured, I know you don't want to hear this, but he was pretty good. Pretty damn good, actually, and elite at his best. I also found articles for like every single one of his starts after coming back from injury, and he's been dominant practically every time he comes back fresh, which is encouraging. And, then a few starts later, he starts getting rocked again. But I mean, there's got to be something to that. Now, stop me if you've heard this before. Severino is yet another stellar when healthy guy who's not consistently healthy. Yes, there is a chance he'll forget the start of a big playoff game, but hey, when he shows up, he's got a shot to be really good. Now, another thing to consider is the possibility he's consciously or unconsciously, subconsciously, I don't know which one to use there, but the possibility that he's consciously or unconsciously altered his pitching mechanics to compensate for a weak link in his kinetic chain. Now, as a skateboarder myself, I'm super familiar with the phenomenon of altering your mechanics to compensate for an injury. I had a bad run of injuring my right foot and ankle, which visibly changed my skating, and I had no idea. Here's a side-by-side of Severino, not me skating. I'm not pitching ninja, but this is what it looks like to me. His entire lower half looks more explosive on the left side than the right, and he seems to follow through a little more on the left as well. Now, I will acknowledge the camera angles do look slightly off from each other, which could warp my perspective, but it seems fairly clear-cut to me. Now, he also looks a little bigger in 2023, pause, buddy chonky. Now, I could just be tripping. It could be that he doesn't have the long sleeve undershirt on, but if you look by his shoulders and some other areas, he definitely seems like a slightly heavier guy. And this is flawed analysis, I'll admit, considering these are just 2 pitches out of thousands that he's thrown over the course of these 2 years, but I did find this side by side to be interesting. Now, if it's what it looks like and he is indeed getting rocked in large part, to his altered delivery, maybe he's tipping pitches more, which he has a history of, or there's some effect to his spin rates. Best believe Stearns and the boys already sussed it out and probably had a plan in mind to remedy things before even offering him $13 million. Instead of just letting one of the young guys like Lucchesi have a shot at that spot. So I have to believe there is, there's a bigger plan here and something that we're not seeing. Now, we're going to go ahead and get up out of here, but the last thing is one thing we can't have evidence for, and that's just a lack of confidence. I'm not trying to pity him, but there was a lot of pressure on him in this group this year to get the job done. His guys were dropping around him like flies, and the pitching depth behind him was virtually non-existent. So I could see how it seems like he has to go out there, even though he's not 100%. And nobody wants to hear that you're not 100%. And the fact that he was pretty down on himself after some early starts, and I think the culmination of everything we talked about just snowballed on the guy. This is a guy who's dominated hitters since he was a child. Yeah, it can't be easy to process how that season was playing out. All right, enough babying him. Okay, cool. So what's the risk versus the upside? Well, the risk is that a billionaire lost $13 million. Cry me a river. Now I'm just playing. The risk is that we allocated $13 million in the wrong place. Worst case scenario is he stinks and we cut our losses with him at whatever point that happens. And even worst case scenario is he's Cy Young level amazing, sells us when it matters the most, becomes a coveted free agent next winter, and then signs with the Braves 10 years, $50 million. Best case scenario, we have some version of Severino at his best, and the argument shifts to if we should re-sign him or not, rather than is he good or not. A realistic scenario, because we love being realistic here. We have an expensive 4 or 5 starter, or a long reliever out of the bullpen who throws gas. My hope is that the new uniform and environment will bring the best out of Sevy, and we can start working towards regaining some of that dominant form back. I know the Mets don't have the greatest track record when it comes to the health of our players either, but I hope we're able to highlight where things went wrong with him and make this move the steal of the offseason. So thank you for rocking with us. This is Mets Said Radio. Don't forget to subscribe and Chase Utley slide into that like button before you hit the next video. If you're on the Twitters, you can follow me at AJ Fang, Instagram at Mets Said Radio. Let me tell you, I got some fire memes I'm cooking up for next season. Some diabolical memes. So feel free to hit me up. Talk baseball, whatever sport you want. Feed me video ideas or just troll me. I don't care. Just try and be funny or I'm going to fry you. All right, Mets Said Radio, AJ Fang, be out.